I had a feeling Kama was eventually gonna get this buff. Her summer form already has this buff, and this also means that her summer form is probably gonna get a buff in the near future too. Probably her second skill to give her like the Kazura drop treatment, where it's a self regeneration buff, and she just charms every turn. If Summer Kama got that buff, she would be a lot better as an AoE extra class farmer. This Kama, for her as a single target, it's fucking ridiculous. Because you also have to remember, now not only are you taking less damage, you're doing almost double, if not more damage than you were doing before with Kama. She was good at solos because she charm block. Now she's good at solos because she charm blocks, and she kills the enemy a lot faster. Gotta remember that buffs in these games have duration, so the quicker she's able to kill enemies, the more those buffs actually will impact her gameplay, versus she's not doing enough damage. So instead of killing the enemy, she has to do face cards, and because she's solo, if you don't calc the damage right, you're getting far more overkill, and you're basically giving whoever you left alive a free hit, like a free turn on you, because you can't attack them. So with her just being able to kill enemies quicker, her face cards are now being used on other enemies, especially if she's like fighting two enemies. She stuns one, kills it, and then she's carding the next one, kills it, and then she's moving on to the next wave. As both a boss killer and a farmer, this can only be seen as a buff. And Kama really can do both. Base attack 11.5k, slightly above the average. HP 12.8k. You might think this is low. It's not, because she has like weird type of healing that also is pretty goated. Especially for like a solo servant, it's like the healing she gets can easily be abused by a character with a stun lock mechanic. Star weight, star gen, or assassin numbers. MB charge 7.74%. Very good for a quick servant, because she's going to be critting on these cards. Her mighty chains slap pretty well too. You can expect like good refunds if you crit on the arts card when you're doing a mighty chain. Like very good refund. I'm not entirely, I can't remember if it's 100% refund or if it's just like more than 50, but it is significant. And also the quick cards, they're good. She's an assassin, and the quick cards are more than 3 hits. Like, would I like them being 5? Yeah, but they were gonna gimp her game then, so no. She has the pseudo servant trait, not the living human. There is a big difference, and it's usually the more divine a character is, the less likely they're a living human. Take regular Ishtar. She is so goddamn close to Rin, and I think they even state that that is like they pulled a Rin from the future to use as Ishtar's vessel. Yeah, so obviously living human in the same sense of like Waver or Reigns. Kama is not that at all. There is no way it was a living Sakura that she used as a vessel. It wasn't gonna happen. And it shows a lot in her personality too, that she act like when Kama withdraws to herself, she acts very much like Heaven's Feel Sakura when like she's in a good mood and not feeling murderous. First skill, here's her healing. By reducing her HP by 1,000, she gets a 4k heal along with overcharging her MP. If you're at like, if your guts just procs, do you care about what your max HP is, or do you want to heal? It's one of those deals that on it, like in a vacuum, people in year 1 would have said this is terrible. Because people said Jolter's mana burst sucked because you dealt damage to yourself. Here you reduce your max HP, so technically it counts as doing damage to yourself, but not really. Overcharge and a heal. In year 1, this would be like probably an average skill, but like if you don't know Kama's gameplay, like this might appear to be a lackluster skill for a character that's damage is as high as this. You would think every single skill she had would be loaded with damage, but no, that's not how Kama works. This overcharge is tied to her damage. Unfortunately, it's only 1 stage for her. If this was 2 stages, Kama would definitely have a little bit faster ramp up time than she already does. Second skill, a one-time guts. You heard that right. On a skill, she has a one-time guts. You know how people praise Q Alter for PFA because you have dodges that don't run out? This is a guts that, like, you will, like, if it take... Okay. You also have to remember, Kama charms lock enemies. So there are many turns you're not taking damage. A guts with a time duration would never, ever proc for Kama. So her getting a Bond CE or a Craft Essence CE level guts on a 6-turn cooldown, even if it's a 2k heal, helps with her gameplay more than you can even understand. You might see a lot of Kama like min turns, but if your Kama is not super Kama MP5 120, your fights are lasting a whole lot longer. You are going to appreciate this guts, especially if you get blasted by an MP. No matter what, you will always have something in the back pocket. And because she can last so long without the guts proccing. Guts procs, and you might already have it back off cooldown immediately. Unfortunately, this is tied to a 30% attack buff, so do want the guts to proc if you don't want the guts to go away. Because the worst feeling is your guts doesn't proc, this comes off cooldown. Oh, I should be fine. Pop this just for the attack buff. Up, your guts pop last turn. The enemy managed to MP that turn, pops your guts, and now like you have to stall for 6 turns without a guts on Kama. Not impossible, absolutely not impossible, but also unlikely. Third skill. Before pretenders were a thing, Kama was the best alter ego killer. Kind of made sense. It was a Sakura face that was killing, at the time, mostly Sakura faces. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and it was Kiara. It was like 1, 2, 3 Sakura faces, and then Kiara. Also kind of makes sense. These two, yeah, no explanation for that, for why Kama would be very good against them. Anyway, she basically was treated as a pretender to alter egos. Now, this had the very big downside of Kama is an assassin. So you're bringing an assassin to fight alter egos. That usually is not a smart thing to do. But again, it is full class advantage as if she's a pretender. It's not that she does double damage and takes double damage. She was taking half damage like a pretender. So along with that 50 battery, she basically got double damage against another class because she's still counted as an assassin. So you could still, it's not like they changed her to a pretender. They just gave her another class she was super effective against. 20% crit damage for 3 turns, and charm res down for 1 turn for all enemies. This is 40%, and this basically will fight off magic resist to make her charm land. However, big caveat, you still needed to land this to get the charm res down. If the enemy has really good magic resist, they might just resist this charm in the first place. So, comma, if she could get a buff now, I would say give her. Oh. Okay, so here's the big thing. They can't give comma debuff success rate. They actually can't. Because if they do, then they actually will make it so her charm will not land. It, like, if they give comma debuff success rate, it pretty much has to be one time and not able to proc from an MP. That's how specific of a buff they have to give comma now, because giving her debuff success rate will probably make her charm 100%. And yeah. Whew. I don't think they should buff comma again. I think if they do, then they need to be buffing like at least even 2 times the rate that they were buffing last year. And last year they almost like had their like biggest year of buffs. Yeah, I think if you're buffing comma twice, like most characters in the game should at least have 2 buffs at that point then. If not more. Comma was always a good character, and now they actually made her broken. Debuff res 20%, riding quick, riding A, quick up 10%, and this is comma. Like adult comma, we know why she's here, and we know that kid comma is her fucking with us. She has said as much. She teases us in the kid form to like fuck with our head. Infinite manifestation C, beast passive 60% crit damage, insta-kill res, and mental debuff res. She has it at a higher amount than actual beast servants. But unironically, she's also the beast that actually was trying to change, unlike Kiara. Yeah, actually, does Kiara have a higher rank of this? That actually makes no fucking sense. Like, comma Avenger genuinely is trying not to be a beast. Why is her independent manifestation like on the same level as these two? Well, this comma has a higher version of it. Stat ranks, I think you have to read lore for that. The stat ranks don't always make sense. Like, yeah, like check out Kiara. She goes from EX goddess to B rank demonic. I know why that is a thing. I'm just saying that for a lot of people, the rankings don't make a lot of sense. Last passive, immune to charm, so you can't bullshit her. Kava can't bullshit herself. That's at least good to know. As a solo servant, you probably would want this just to make it so you have your guts a little faster if it happens to proc sooner. But mostly as a solo servant, you're going to want this because this is a free card buff that is always going to be working every single turn. This is for multi-core and just a little faster start too. This is per body. This is very obviously per body, and crit damage. So, MP buff. Quick res activates first. Base is 20, scales up to 50. Because she gets an overcharge, the base number is actually 25. It's 10 hits, single target, and she charmed enemies with an 80% charmed whoever she hit with an 80% chance. But this charm was after damage. Super effective against charm, and they moved the charm before damage. They did not touch the OC, and obviously MP scaling or MP upgrade scaling 1600 to 2400, up from 1200 to 2000. I remember this very, very clearly. Kama's MP damage was right around Jack's yesterday. Now she is doing literally double plus damage. How, like the last time we saw this was Wawanshi, and because her super effective ramps up, even hers wasn't as dramatic as this one. And her MP buff was very dramatic because it also came out because, like, yeah, no, she went to the top of the list for single for 1 turn MP damage. She is literally at the top of the list for archers because her niche is always being considered. Kama did not have competition like that. It's not like Kama was one of the worst DPSs that got this MP buff and shot to the top. She was already one of the best DPSs. And now like, so where are we going from here? Because that is where, hang on, let me finish. Bonsi E, 15% quick for the party, 20% crit damage for the party. She does not get these benefits. So you're probably not making Grand Kama. You're probably not making Grand Serving Kama. Which, again, it would be funny making a Grand Beast, even though this one isn't an actual beast. Yeah, so Kama is probably one of the few almost must summon DPSs that are out in the game, and it is not even close. The fact that, like, on the damage chart, like, even comparing to niches, she still beats out other characters. That's the really wild part, that we're even counting niches at MP1, and she does more damage than all of them. Even the only exception to this is MHX. But there's also a huge caveat to this, and that MHX is fighting a Saber and a Saber face. So she is doing she's not getting class advantage. Like, she gets the extra damage, yeah, but she's an assassin fighting a Saber. She's not going to get, like, ×2. Kama is going to get ×2. So yeah, like, this is good comparison to single target archers, not single target assassins. The only time MHX is gonna come close is when you're fighting a Maid Alter or a Berserker that's a Saber face. It has to be a Saber face that MHX is has class advantage against. I was joking about them actually buffing MHX and MHXA in Saber Wars 3. I think they actually might buff her MP again. Or give MHX another buff. Or they're buffing King Hassan's MP, which has been a very long time coming. I would, like, before we talk about buffing MHX, I would very much like King Hassan to get an MP buff. Because his MP doesn't do shit. It is the insta-kill stick. And that's it. His MP doesn't do much else. So please buff ramps, would be very much appreciated. Do I think that you should summon for Kama if you don't have her? If you don't have Count of Monte Cristo, I would strongly advise summoning for Kama. If you do have Count of Monte Cristo, they are very, very similar, but yeah, hang on. I just want to double check count real quick. Even though I literally just looked at his kit and talked about it like last week. Okay, so Count has better refund. He's not making better stars. Count of Monte Cristo is gonna do more damage over time. While Kama's damage is just gonna be consistently good. whether she has skills or not, her MP is pretty much going to be doing the same damage. And I think that is something more to talk about. She's always gonna have she's always gonna have the quick buffs from her MP. So even this number right here is not her actual damage in like 3 turns. Even without supports, if she MP'd 3 times, this number would be higher. But yeah, like the only thing she really misses out if she doesn't have buffs is a 30% attack buff, and she's almost never going to be buffless. She is at least always going to have a guts for protection. And yeah, Kama is just a safer version than Dante's, straight up. Dante's does not have nearly the same level of survivability, and this is just a fact. If you have the chance to, I would definitely give Kama a summon. At least get MP1, because then they're still beating out pretty much every other servant on the list. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like or sub. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.